Uh, it is storming here, okay? Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for being here today. Today's video, we are doing something a little different. I've never done this before, so bear with me. But we are doing the end of the year book tag. So this is basically just going to be a me talking video. I'm not going to pull any of the books out or anything. I will have a picture of the books up as we go, but I just kind of wanted to do a sit down, like, talking video, just kind of relaxing. So let's get cozy and let's get right into it. I even got my notebook with me. I'm all organized for this video. It's a rare thing, I know. I do want to say I did get inspiration from this video from Larry and Kalia D. I will be putting their videos down below if you want to check them out. The very first question on it is any books you started that you need to finish, and there are actually 3 of them, 3 books I actually did start this year that I just did not commit to and finish. That is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I was in a reading slump and I was spacing out the reading so much I needed to put it aside. I just was not going to give that book justice at all. The Sea Witch by Katie Robert. Again, I was in a reading slump. I was not in the mood for it. I got like 2 chapters in and I was like, no, I just can't right now. And that's book 5 out of 6 of that series, so I need to get to it and wrap up that series at this point. So that I've been reading it for like a year now. So, and then finally, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now I started this on audiobook. I got like a chapter in or a little bit into the first chapter, and I was like, oh, I want to sit down and actually like immerse read it, like have the audiobook and the book. So I stopped that because I didn't want to just do the audiobook of it. So I will get to those. Those are all like priorities next year. Some of them are on my 25 and 25 as well. That's going to self-destruct, and I have to unhaul them if I don't read them next year. So we will get to them, I promise. The worst or most disappointing book. Oh, Don't Let Her Stay. I read this on Kindle Unlimited. I just didn't like the characters. I didn't like the plot. This just was a miss for me. And You Shouldn't Have Come Here. I did audiobook for this. It was just so disappointing because I got this recommendation from Book Talk and I just did not like it. I was like, the plot just happened. I was like, what just happened? Like it didn't have me, honestly, but that's just me. So next is the Underdog book, and this actually surprised me. It was the only like memoir book I read, and that is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. Oh my goodness, I remember pulling this up on, I did audiobook for this, and I remember pulling it up and being like, wow. And I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, and I liked it so much I ended up getting the physical copy of it. So I definitely did not expect that. I just kind of went in on it on a whim. It was on Spotify, so I was like, why not? And I ended up loving it. Most overhyped book. Now, don't hate me. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I went into this and I had such high expectations for this because everyone hypes this series up. They talk about how amazing it is, and it just kind of flopped for me. I did not think it was like as good as everyone like made it out to be. It really just seems overhyped to me. I'm sorry if you love Caraval. Please don't hate me. It was just a miss for me, and I just feel like it was way overhyped for what it was. A book that surprised you, and some people may, okay, y'all may not agree, okay? Lightlark by Alex Astor. Okay, listen. I did not expect to love this book as much as I did. I gave it 4.25 stars. I loved it so much. I remember I haven't really stayed up super late reading a book, and I was up until 4 in the morning reading this. I was so addicted to the story. I was so addicted to the characters. There is a love triangle in this as well. There's only one clear winner to me, but it was so addictive. I don't know what it was about it, but I loved it. And I cannot wait to continue it. I really can. The longest book I read this year. And that would be Hunting Adeline. Okay, this book is thick. This book actually took me like 3 weeks to get through. I'm a slow reader, and I was also that book put me into a reading slump in the middle of it. It was actually crazy. I've never experienced that before. So yeah, it took me like 3 weeks to get through, and it was, I mean, it's a thick book. I think it's like 690 something pages. Like, it's a lot. The shortest book I read was Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. This was just a palate cleanser for me. And it definitely is a spicy palate cleanser, that's for sure. But it was only like 100 and like, I think 120 something pages. I don't know, it was really fast. It was really nice to just have a quick read kind of in between like my dark romance reads that I had going on. So yeah, a book you can't stop thinking about. And anyone who knows me knows I talk about this book nonstop. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I love this book. I think about it every single day. I want all the special editions of it, all the collector's editions of it, anything I can get my hands on that's Fourth Wing, I want. I love that book so much. I cannot wait. I have Iron Flame on my TBR for this month. I'm gonna get to it really soon. I'm finishing up my current read, and then I'm going into Iron Flame, and I'm so ready for it. I'm ready for Onyx Storm as well. So like, I love that series so much. I know I've only read the first book, but I don't know, it already holds a special place in my heart, and no one's gonna change my mind about that. Book with the most unique concept, and this is a no-brainer for me, but it's so hard because I can't tell y'all what the unique concept is without giving away. But that's Layla by Colleen Hoover. I have never experienced this in a book before. It was so weird, it was so creepy, but it was so unique at the same time, and it just threw me for a loop completely. I remember being so mad at the book to being like, wow, I get it. So like, I don't know, I recommend this to everyone. I know a lot of people are not Colleen Hoover fans, but I think this is one of her best books next to Verity. I think Verity is her best book, and then this is the only other book that I read by her, but I highly recommend it. It's not your typical romance book at all. It's kind of a mystery as well, and it's messed up, but it's so cool. The happiest books I read. These are books that just make me happy. So we have Archer's Voice. I love this book so much. This is the book that made me believe that there's true love out there. It just touched me in a special way, and when I look at my copies of it, I just get so happy. Number 2 is The Love Hypothesis. I did not expect to love this book so much, but it's the book that made me love fake dating. Oh my gosh, it made me feel some type of way. I get giddy when I think about it. Ali Hazelwood has just imprinted herself on me in such a unique way, and she just quickly became one of my favorite authors this year. So it just, I get so giddy and so happy when I think about that book. The saddest books I read, oh my goodness, Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. This book just, it took me to dark places, and it is messed up. I highly recommend checking your trigger warnings if you plan on going into this, but it definitely is dark. It is sad. Oh man, it took a piece of my heart, and the only reason I will not be continuing Kathleen's books is because each of them are dark like this, and I can't go back there. So it was very just heartbreaking, let's just say that. Hunting Adeline, anyone who has read this book is dark. This book is probably one of the most messed up books I have ever read, and it was so heartbreaking what happens in this, and I cannot say anything because people who have not read the first book, but just know that it is one of the darkest books I have ever read. And then Fourth Wing, this book is the only book to make me completely sob my eyes out this year, and I mean, I sobbed my eyes out. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, the most frustrating books I read. Now, Layla from Colleen Hoover, I'll say that again. It was one of the most frustrating times I had in a book until I got to that like understanding of it, and I was like, oh, it makes sense actually. So And then 5 Survived by Holly Jackson. Oh my gosh, I have never been more frustrated with a character in my life. Holly Jackson has made my most hated character of 2024, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I highly recommend this. This is about, obviously, 6 friends who are going away for I think it's spring break is what they're going for, and they're in an RV and it breaks down, and someone's behind it, and basically true characters come out, true colors show, and it is crazy, it is messed up, and it is so interesting. And Holly Jackson has not let me down, let me tell you. She has wrote some of the best mystery thrillers I have read, and this is no different. But my most hated character, and that's why I got so frustrated with it. I wanted to throw my book every time he spoke. Yeah, read it. Unpopular books that I loved. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I get crap all the time for loving this book, but I loved it so much that I have 3 editions of it. I loved it so much, and I still do. I think it's just a fun time. I loved it. It was a guilty pleasure read, and I can't help it. I love it so much. I do. Next is The Housemaid is Watching. Everyone on Book Talk hated this book, and I don't understand why. I loved it, okay? The Housemaid's Secret, I felt like was a copy and paste of The Housemaid. The Housemaid is Watching, I felt was like a closing of the story that everyone wanted and needed, of Millie's relationship and everything, and it was different than the first 2 books, and that's what I liked about it. Everyone was like, Millie doesn't mind her own business, you know, and I truly don't think that's what happened at all. And I had a good time. I gave it 4 stars. I truly had a good time, and I do not know why everyone gives this book so much crap. It does not make sense to me, but hey, to each their own. Books I would reread, okay? And I actually plan on doing a reread next year of one of these books, so I don't know which one yet, but this kind of gave me an idea. Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I love this book so much. It was one of my favorite books. I love the enemies to lovers in this. I would reread it over and over again. Clearly, Fourth Wing, Rebecca Yarros. I'm not going to talk about it. I know y'all are over it. Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. I just had a good time. I know nothing about chess at all, but this was just the cutest rom-com I have ever read. I had a good time. I loved it. Books I thought I would love but didn't. Clearly, Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Like I said, I just could not get into it. I could not immerse myself. It was just a little disappointing to me. And then Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton, which is so upsetting because I was looking forward to Molly's story. So when this book got released, I was like so excited for it, and it just let me down. I felt like it did not close out well. I wanted more is the problem, and I didn't get what I wanted. I did not get the closure I wanted from this, so Favorite book couples. Okay, Archer's Voice, we have Archer and Bree, clearly. Does It Hurt, we have Enzo and Sawyer. Oh my gosh, I love them. Scarred, we have Tristan and Sarah, of course. They are just my enemies to lovers couple. Divine Rivals, we have Roman and Iris. Oh my gosh, I love this book so much, and this couple. Checkmate, we have Nolan and Mallory. I love them. Oh my gosh, I love this book. Favorite main characters. Now I have a couple. Buckle up. Iris from Divine Rivals. I don't care what anyone says. That girl is so strong. What she goes through throughout the entire book, I just love. I love her. Harry Potter, we have Harry, of course. No questions asked about that. No comments need to be made. Fourth Wing, we have Violet. Again, no comments need to be made. Violet is just one of the strongest characters I've ever seen. Evelina from Wretched by Emily McIntyre. She's just she's a badass. And then Peeta from Hunger Games. Oh, yeah. Now my favorite book covers. So the Eternal Embers version of Archer's Voice, I actually own this edition. I love this. It's so beautiful. It brings so much joy to my heart. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I don't know what it is about cartoon covers. I love them, especially hockey ones. Like, they're so cute. Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. Again, cartoon covers. I don't know what it is. I love cartoon covers. But then there is the original version of God of Malice as well. So not a cartoon cover, but I do love it. I think it's so cool. Favorite book quotes. I actually need to grab my book journal for this. Okay, so this one is from Archer's Voice, and it had occurred to me that it would probably be amazing what we could all see and hear if we would just shut our mouths a little more and stop trying constantly to hear our own voice. This one is from Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and it's, we're still individuals, but we're individuals together, and I never knew relationships could be like this. This one's from Scarred by Emily McIntyre, and this is actually her dedication when you open the book, and it's for the freaks, the misfits, the bullied, the loners, the insecure, the damaged. You are worthy, you are warriors. And the last one's from Harry Potter, and it is, to have been loved so deeply, even though the person who loved us is gone, will give us some protection forever. And I don't know, I think all these just hit me in some way, and I think they all speak something different, and they're just beautiful. Okay, then we have new favorite authors, and as I said earlier, Ali Hazelwood quickly became one of my favorite authors. I did read 3 of her books this year, and I loved all 3 of them. They were all fantastic. So she is now an auto-buy author for me. I have 2 more books of hers on my TBR shelf, so I will be reading more for next year. And then Frida McFadden. Oh my goodness, Frida was my top read author of 2024, and she just writes mystery thrillers so fast paced, so entertaining, and I'm so addicted to them. I love them. I love popping in the audiobook as well and immerse reading with them. Just so good. And another auto-buy author, I've already got The Crash on pre-order. I cannot wait for that. An author that didn't work out for you, like I said, Kathleen Glasgow, just their writing is more dark for me, and so I will not be continuing with any of her books, sadly, unless she like writes something different. Then I will, but just I think it's like You Be Home Now and like The Glass Girl or something like that. I don't know, she dropped a new book, but they're just not for me. Books or book series you wish you got to. There are quite a few. We have Heartless Hunter. I really want to get to this because the second book comes out next year, and everyone seems to love this book so much, and I want to get into it. The Interconnected Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. I just know everyone seems to love this book series in general, and I want to experience it. The ACOTAR series, of course, my best friend Haley is on me about it, but I will be getting to it next year. And then Serpents and the Wings of Night. I've been meaning to get to this. The second book's already out. The third book has dropped in that series. I need to get to it. It's Hunger Games meets vampires, and I love that. Okay, and lastly is our Goodreads reflection plus our goal for next year. Our goal for 2024 was to read 36 books. We did, I believe, 45, so we did reach our goal. I would like to go for 75 next year, but I don't think that's possible. So we are going to start with 50 for next year, and if we hit that, then we'll go for 75. So that is kind of what we're looking like for next year. So I am excited for it. I have so many plans for YouTube next year as well, and I just can't wait to really like dive into these stories. Okay, that is all for today. Thank y'all for hanging out with me during this. I know it was kind of a longer video and just me rambling, but I do appreciate it. Again, if you like the video, please drop a like. If you made it this far, thank you. Oh my goodness, thunder. Calm down. If you made it this far, thank you. Please hit that subscribe button too. I would love to have you here. Thank you all again, and I hope y'all have a wonderful 2025. Bye.